possession of the police, the feds, right? Right? Wrong. Because here's what happened to his shirt, according to Brian Harpole, who joined Sean Ryan for a car crash interview, for which I'm being sued over. Here is what happened to Charlie's shirt, in case you missed it or forgot it like I did. Take a listen.
We get to the hospital. Actually, we make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Well, once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney, and then I wheel him into a room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white Freedom shirt. And so I cut it off so they could get to him, so that I didn't articulate this to them, but I wanted to get that stuff off so they could put a defibrillator on him. And so, and then started talking about pushing drugs. And so I was back and forth with them on drugs and defibrillator. And so then, once you get that shirt cut off and moved out of the way, there's enough of medical professionals in there. And so I just want to get out of their way. And so got out of their way and walked out of the room, and then stood outside the room and held guard on the outside door of the room so nobody else could come in there.
I genuinely do not possess in my vocabulary enough adjectives to describe the absurdity of the scene that Brian Harpole just tried to convey to audience. It's difficult. You just have to have, you don't even have to have a shred of common sense. You could have less than a shred of common sense. Ever been to a doctor? Ever been to a hospital? This guy walked in like he was the mayor. He grabs a gurney. He wheels the gurney himself into a room. He then jumps on top of Charlie. Don't know where he got the scissors from. You would think they would have been available to him in the car. He got a pair of scissors. He's barking orders. He then cuts Charlie's shirt off for them because he's got this all under control. People are just looking around like, this guy is amazing. He then starts giving them information, even though you would have thought that happened on the phone. We still can't figure out who in the car called 911, and we can't find that 911 call, but they say someone did call 911. He then starts giving information about Charlie, and then he himself, they're all standing around watching this guy just do his thing. Like, he's just your regular old Superman. Everybody recognizes him from town. And then he steps back and says, okay, now I myself have decided I will back away because there's enough professionals, but I am going to talk you through what meds to give Charlie as well. I'm sorry, who are you? And then he wraps up by saying, and then I decided to walk out of the room and just guard the door. Oh, they just let you do that at hospitals? I didn't know this was an emergency scene. I've never seen this. Not even when they fake killed Jeffrey Epstein did they come up with the story that's ridiculous. They at least showed him as soon as he got to the hospital, like, no, the medical professionals just like took over, obviously, because not even the people that are in the paramedics would be able to do this. You hand it over. You're now in the hospital, coming into the emergency doors. They have an emergency setup, and not even the paramedics would be allowed to do what Brian Harpole, some random dude who they don't know from a hole in the wall, has just described to Sean Ryan that he did, no questions asked. And he cut his shirt off. That's the most crucial part. He jumped on top of him. He grabbed the gurney. He picked the room. Everyone was standing around going, wow, we'll just wait until he tells us there's enough of us. Because this guy's got it. This guy's really, really got it. Why don't we just perform surgery? What are we doing here? He did it because, I had the defibrillator. Oh, well, you told us now you're worried about Charlie's heartbeat because you told us that you didn't even do CPR. This was an 8-minute car ride. Now you want a defibrillator to bring his heart back online? Do you know how much damage would you have 4 minutes that you can survive that heartbeat? And you weren't worried about heartbeat. Now you're worried about heartbeat. So much so that you jump onto him and cut off his shirt. Why are you saying this? This did not happen. This did not happen. Brian Harpole, you are lying through your teeth. Okay, it's no wonder Kash Patel had to swoop in there and take the cameras from inside the hospital. We were wondering why. Well, this very clearly explains why, because the story is so fantastical. There's no way in hell the FBI could have allowed us to see what went down in the hospital. Frankly, it sounds like a sitcom, okay? Frank Turek, who didn't touch Charlie, according to Brian Harpole. According to Brian, he was just praying in the backseat. But for some reason, Frank notes that when he got to the hospital, he got changed. Mikey McCoy, who was a hero, found them surgical scrubs because there was blood all over him. He somehow got blood all over him, and then they all needed to change their clothes. And when he changed his clothes, he didn't even recognize at that moment that his kids were still on the phone. He's not going to realize that until he gets to the hospital. Nobody really understands how he called Jack Hibbs, but he did. We have a hospital that's allowing Brian Harpole to run the op floor while Pastor Frank Turek is being styled for some unknown reason. All of this definitely happened. But again, it's really weird. Even like if I take my kid to the emergency room, I feel like I've suddenly given them to the medical industry. You can have a baby in a hospital and they'll fight you over the child that you just carried for 9 months, telling you basically the child is theirs. Here's what the baby needs. But somehow when Brian Harpole came in here, he was just calling shots, and then he did security. He guarded the door. Wow. This sounds like a movie. This sounds like, I don't know, like a Denzel Washington, Johnny Q movie. This does not sound like real life because it's not real life. The reason Brian Harpole is spinning that tale is because he probably did cut off Charlie's shirt at that hospital. When everybody was stripping, he probably did cut off Charlie's shirt. And I'm going to guess that that shirt has been disposed of. Because I don't see it in evidence. I don't see it marked as evidence. I haven't seen it in the court case filings that they have this shirt anywhere. That makes the most sense to me under this scenario is that Brian is spinning a tale trying to make it sound heroic as to why he removed a crucial piece of evidence off of Charlie's body.
Matter of fact, my dating life the past couple of fucking years as a lesbian has been fucking ghetto. You bitches are narcissistic. You bitches are manipulative. You bitches don't got shit to fucking offer. You bitches are famous for fucking putting on these motherfucking images that you riding for a bitch so hard and it's this and it's that and you want to provide the world and you're ready for commitment and you ready for serious shit whole time just for you to walk me like a motherfucking dog. These bitches be out here treating you lower than the motherfucking scum between their motherfucking toes. Like, at this point, I'm bound to crash out at any point in time. Like, dating as a fucking lesbian is fucking ghetto. It's ghetto. I'm over it. I'm over, like, the inconsistencies. I'm over the bullshit ass lies and excuses. I'm over motherfuckers playing victim. I'm just over it. I'm tapped the fuck out, to be quite fucking frank.
Listen, to all my fellas out there who have dealt with a female, I don't know how the fuck y'all deal with us, because this is like my first time really dealing with a female in a relationship type thing, and this motherfucker driving me fucking crazy. She never know what the fuck she want to eat. She always got an attitude. If I text her as K, she has a fucking attitude. Like, I'm supposed to just be like, okay, baby, what you want? You want me to fucking mouth feed you? If I don't have her figure out her outfit, it's a fucking problem. If I don't know exactly where the fuck we're going to eat after she asked me to fucking take her to fucking eat, it's a fucking problem. Like, I don't understand what the fuck y'all bitches be wanting. Like, the females be worse than the fucking men, and I don't know how y'all men been fucking dealing with us. And to any man that dealt with me, if I was ever on some shit like that, I am sorry. I am getting my motherfucking karma. I thought I wanted to be gay. No, I don't know about that, because these bitches is crazier than these men. I'm telling you, and they be sneaky. They are ruining this shit. I'm so mad. These girls be so sneaky. Y'all don't even understand how sneaky these girls.
The more I date women, the more I find myself understanding heterosexual men.
I know I can't be the only one. I just feel like women might not be for me.
Let me just say that the dating of lesbians, okay, is fucking trash, okay? It is absolutely fucking trash.
And on some real shit, I never understood how men was feeling until I started messing with women. And what I'm saying is, these hoes really be out here trying to use you for a check for real. Like, what the fuck? This your first day meeting a girl.
Nowadays, it is so fucking scary today because y'all just lack so much shit and y'all want the most, the absolute most. You lack emotional maturity, you lack emotional intelligence, you lack being self-aware, you lack knowing what the fuck you want, to be honest with you, and then you still want a queen to be.
Why y'all lie like that? Like, why y'all sit up here and say that dating a woman is so much easier and they understand you and they know what all the spots are and they know how to treat you because they know how they want to be treated? Bitch, please. Dating a bitch is hard. It's hard. It's World War II. This shit is hard, bro. Like, this shit is not for the weak. Only the strong survive.
So I dated women most of my life. So when men be talking about how women can be selfish, how they can be vicious, how they don't care, and how they have this sense of entitlement, they're not lying.
We listen and we don't judge. When I thought my ex-girlfriend was cheating on me, I ended up pepper spraying her strap, and she ended up coming clean to me about it because the girl went to the ER. Yeah, somebody was going to be burning, and it wasn't going to be me, okay?
We're about to see if I'm as smart as I think I am. I restored this Bronco for my daughter when she was 16. She's 20.
All right, as I'm getting ready for the evening event, and I'll show you my dress because it's kind of eating, I did want to bring your attention to this. Unfortunately, I have to hold this button, so. Now, I've seen this account post things saying that they're breaking when they're not. Like the signal chats that I troll, those aren't the original ones. They're kind of like the feeder channels where they get a deal and they spot out all the feds. That's the one that he showed, and he was like, oh my God, I'm so spooky. Dude, we've been in there for 10 years. It's not. But it's good that you bring it to their attention, to the public's attention that they're talking, but putting your, So anyway, the spreadsheet, let me tell you the origin. And I think Mike Benz might like to, he's now an USAID expert. So let me give you some expertise on that, which is an easy, open, closed case against Harvard. So there's a website on Harvard that was funded by USAID for domestic operations. You're gonna be like, what? No, they only fund international. Wrong. Chenoweth got that money. She was at Harvard. They created this experiment where they're tracking all of the protests to see what has efficacy and what doesn't. And these spreadsheets came from there. That's actually part of the experiment. And can we talk about how awesome this dress looks? $20 at TJ Maxx. Now, this spreadsheet for New York, there's one for almost every major city and even little cities where they have a few protesters. This all came from the U.S. Peace Institute. They're still operating, and those are the signal chats that he should be in, and he's not, but we are. And we're also in the Jitsi calls where they organize all these decentralized civil society groups. That's why I get really mad when people say Antifa. So just so you know, the Minnesota one is completely skewed because we actually pretended that we were driving around Minnesota and we were pulling the data from Harvard, giving them actual license plates of DHS cars that weren't even there, and pretending that we were at so-and-so corner and whatnot. Now, even though I don't like misinformation, because that's what this is, he's posturing it as something important, their crypt pad, FBI already has it. We send it to them daily with a chain of custody number. But it's really important for people to understand where it came from. And that came from your tax dollars that funded this Harvard program that spawned all of these things. So this isn't breaking. This is business as usual. So I am really loving this dress. Thank you. And again, it's not Antifa, it's civil society's affinity group.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. I know that a lot of people desperately hope that they're good cops. They actually...
Okay, so in September 2016, Apple stood on a stage in San Francisco and said something that made millions of people genuinely angry.
The Earth isn't spinning at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator or anywhere else, and I think I have evidence today to prove it to you. This photo in and of itself is some pretty awesome proof. I've explained this before, but for all the people that didn't see that video, because I'm so shadowbanned, if you go from the west coast to the east coast, flying with the spin of the Earth supposedly, because the Earth is supposedly spinning 1,000 miles per hour eastward, the flight should be longer, right? Going with the spin of the Earth, and then vice versa. If you're going east to west, you're going against the spin of the Earth. It should be shorter. The time, only 40 minutes. That and the fact that planes use a model called FEM, Flat Earth Model, it should tell you that the Earth might be flat and stationary. And if you want more proof that we are stationary and the atmosphere, ether, medium, whatever is encompassing us is the only thing that's moving, you just have to look at how wind works. So, warm air rises and it cools, so it creates movement. So that's basically how wind works. Again, the molecules from the heat of the sun rises the pressure of the air, and then they equalize and move around, switch around. That creates wind, essentially. So you'd have to agree that the molecules of the air rising, equalizing, moving, the wind, creating the wind is part of the atmosphere, right? And one of the first questions I asked when I first found flat Earth is, the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour eastward. Why don't we spin under the clouds? And the heliosexuals fired back with that the gravity of the Earth is holding all of the atmosphere and the clouds and all of the molecules in the atmosphere, clouds, medium, ether, whatever you want to call it, with the perfect spin of the Earth. Gravity's pulling it perfectly with it. So you gotta realize, you really want to drive this one home. The Earth is supposedly holding all of this atmosphere, this air, perfectly, while at the same time satellites can geocentrically, geostationarily, and polarly orbit, supposedly. And the gravity supposedly doesn't keep pulling it in, it just leaves it out there, it doesn't pull it any closer to the... We're not talking about that, though. What I'm trying to get at here is that if the Earth's gravitational pull is holding all of the atmosphere, all of the molecules, everything in all of these layers of the atmosphere, what happened to these molecules? Why aren't these molecules being held with the 1,000 mile per hour spin of the Earth? You already know what I think. The Earth's flat, and the atmosphere is moving, not us.
The moment an osprey hits the water and sinks its razor-sharp meat hooks into a fish, the clock is ticking. Somewhere below the surface is a freshly impaled fish that is sending out all kinds of distress signals. For many creatures under the deep, those distress signals are like a dinner bell. The osprey has to get itself out of the water in time, and with it, its weighty catch. In this case, a massive pompano that more than likely weighs more than the bird itself. Unbelievable.
Want to know what drives your competitors' organic?
Well, look what we have here, an 1889 map showing routes by steam and electric. So you're telling me that they crossed the Atlantic with electric. Check it out. They even show the dates on it too. Look at this. How cool. This is the entire world showing all the different, here, check it out right there. Vapor and electric from 1889 all across the world. The majority of the United States did everything steam, but when you go down to some of these other areas, they had a lot of electric. What the heck was going on there? It is so cool. Look at the mixture here of electric and steam all the way around there. The US is just decked out with a whole bunch of steam. But when you cross at the top, they're crossing with electric. It says cable transatlantic, which is interesting too. But then you can see everything here when they're doing everything by steam. And then let's go over to Europe and check everything out there. You have both electric and steam all throughout the Mediterranean. And of course, all throughout Europe too. You got steam and you have some electric, especially up towards Norway. And check it out. It's just so cool. What a neat map. Oh, by the way, check this out. 1889, and we still have Tartaria here. Thought that was kind of interesting too. And they have it over here as well. Let's see if I can find it over here. Where is it at? It was interesting. They had the sea. There it is right there. So you got Tartaria there as well. And again, look, there's a whole bunch of electric traveling here. And then a little bit of steam traveling as well. So it seems to be a little bit of both in those areas. Just very interesting on all the areas back then you could travel. It would have been so cool. Just a really neat map. And then they do some areas here where they really deck it out so you can see how much travel they really had. And then they have all of the charts that show you everything about the services and where they can go. And then they even break it down to like the different countries, all the different flags of the different countries. And look at the American flag right there. That was pretty wild. And then they even break down the key of what everything is. Like the blue is for electric, the red is for steam or vapors they called it. And then they got the capitals that are decked out in the smaller cities and the flags that mean whatever it is for the areas. I mean, this map is so detailed. And then here's another side showing the services. Then they look to show Americas here. Look how much steam travel they have there. No electric there, that's interesting. All steam in Americas. But you have a lot of electric travel here through Mexico. Really interesting. Anyways, I just wanted to share.
Tucker Carlson just issued an emergency warning to the American people of the world. Israel has been telegraphing, signaling that they're preparing to stage a massive false flag attack to be blamed on Iran to drag us back into their failed war for the Greater Israel Project.
Israel feels that it's out of options other than something extreme. Moreover, this is not the beginning of the story, it's the end of a generations-long story. The build-up has been going for my entire life, and I'm 57, where Israel's solution to all problems outside its borders, and often within its own borders, is force, is killing people. We haven't killed enough people, that's why we're not at peace. I think Israel's a threat. Israel has one trump card, it's nuclear weapons. And you don't want to put Israel in a position where they feel they have no choice but to use those weapons. I think Israel's always been a lot closer to using nukes than any other country. I mean, we know that because they've said that. And I think they're now closer than they've ever been.
Today on my broadcast, Tucker Carlson, hands down, said the most important thing he's ever said. He issued a warning. We have top Israeli defense experts and intelligence experts saying, if America doesn't stay in our war for Greater Israel against Iran for regime change, America needs a new 9/11. And when you study 9/11, how Netanyahu was in power, they were working with Rumsfeld and others, and the New American Century Plan, where they said, we need a new Pearl Harbor in April of 2000. Around 3,000 dead. We need an American city to be hit with high civilian casualties so the American people get behind a Pax Americana and the invasion of 7 countries in the Middle East, the final one being Iran. And remember, 2 years later, Wesley Clark at the Pentagon got shown the plan. We attacked Iraq that had nothing to do with 9/11. Now Israel says that Iran is going to launch a nuclear 9/11 or something else against America, and that will teach us to get behind Israel and the Israel lobby. Clearly, Israel is willing to stage a false flag. They threatened to drag us in with the Samson option with nuclear weapons by striking Iran. So Tucker had the moral courage today to agree with me that's a major threat. He said, yeah, Israel's basically already threatening it. So the corporate media is going completely insane right now. But this is why this is so important. We're exposing this so we take the Samson option card off the table, and so we take the false flag, the nuclear false flag, off the table. That was the one point with Tucker today that I didn't make and that he didn't make that was so important. So that's why I'm shooting this emergency report right now. Please share this report and follow me right here on X at Real Alex Jones and at AJ Live, and on our Rumble feed. It's completely free at rumble.com/The Alex Jones Show Live. That's the new home of our operations in the fight for the hearts and minds of humanity, using the truth against the globalist lies. It's rumble.com/The Alex Jones Show Live. And of course, our new news site, which is the next phase of the info war, AlexJonesLive.com, with the live feeds of my show, Harrison's show, special reports, and more 7 days a week here at the Alex Jones Network, with other huge guests coming up this week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Be sure and join me 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for my show, and the other broadcasts listed at AlexJonesLive.com. But here is some of what Tucker Carlson had to say. Be sure to watch the full interview at AlexJonesLive.com.
So I was 9. There was a family friend, okay, a very close one. It's always like that, right? And I was best friends with his stepdaughter. It's a family gathering. I knew them since I was born. Like, I don't have a registered time in my brain where I don't remember it. Like, they've been there since the day one. Like, they're a core memory, okay? Like, it's something like you see your grandmother all the time and you don't remember how she got into your life. She's just there, right? So, same thing. This family was there since the beginning. And the daughter was my best friend. And everybody knew each other. And it's always like that. Always the closest people. It's always the friend. It's always the uncle, the cousin, a friend of a dad. It's always that person that you will never suspect. And they're always the nicest ones. Nobody could ever know. So I remember I was staying at their house for the sleepover to have fun with a friend of mine, right? And it was always like that. And I remember that night I ate something very bad or something, but I was puking. I was throwing up, and it was not a good evening. It was okay. And I went to sleep pretty early. It was summertime, no school, so it was like July-ish, something like this. And I went to a bed very early again, and I was sleeping in a separate room from my friend because I was puking. So we sleep in separate rooms. And it was around 5 a.m. that I hear somebody coming into the room. And why I say 5 a.m. is because the sun was still not out, but I would hear the birds. I remember hearing the birds. I remember looking at the window like this, and I don't see the sun, but I hear the birds, so I understand it's very early in the morning. And then he sits near the bed, and he touches my stomach. And I legitimately thought that he's going to ask me just how I'm doing because he's caring about me. I was throwing up all night. So he comes in at 5 a.m. to check me because God knows what I'm doing, you know? So he came and he touched my shoulder, touched my stomach. He's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, good. And then he goes down there, he slides his hand and you feel, I don't know how to describe the feeling. You feel like everything stops. Birds don't sing anymore. Heart doesn't beat anymore. Like you just, and you're quiet. You cannot do anything. I felt like the concrete plate is on my face. I couldn't do anything. And I still question why. I want to go into the bottom of it. I want to talk with anybody who can explain to me why the brain responds like that. Why like that? Why you stuck? Why you just freeze? And I remember the words so clearly like it happened yesterday. He said, I know that in a couple of years, whatever, you're going to like it.
There is also the curious case of the witness tree. We covered this a little bit yesterday. The people who were first to speak to the media and set the narrative. They're the most crucial people. Some people call these people crisis actors.
So we called President Trump's bluff on the reflecting pool, and this is really interesting. Yesterday, Donald Trump said in the Oval Office that there was proof that the reflecting pool was vandalized, and that's why pieces from the bottom are coming up.
As you can imagine, there were reporters there who were kind of skeptical of that, and they challenged the president.
So he told the reporters, you can go somewhere and we will prove to you that this was not just a bad pool job, it was vandalism.
Are the contractors who did the initial work with the reflecting pool, are they to blame for the current condition, or is it the vandalism?
No, vandalism. We have I think 290, 300 slip through it, probably a box cutter or a knife.
Where's the gun that you put for that slip?
Well, what you have to do is the Parks Department. They'll show it to you. See,
They were worried about your fucking pool.
But I said,
So he said go to the Parks Department. That's actually the National Park Service. So our TMZ DC guy, Jacob, did just that today. Not too long ago, he went to the National Park Service to get the evidence that Donald Trump talked about, proving that it was vandalism. Here's Jacob.
What's up, everyone? I'm coming to you from the Park Police headquarters. The reason why I'm here is because Trump told reporters yesterday, if you want to get evidence of the 350-foot slit in the Lincoln reflecting pool that's been the reason for all this mess, that you could come to the Parks Department and they will show it to you. I was calling them this morning, met with no answer, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to go in person. Turns out this facility is in the middle of nowhere. The weather right now is awful. My umbrella's blowing away right now, but screw it. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see this slit. So I came here. I was ringing the doorbell. No one was answering until finally I was met with a secretary who came out and gave me this pink note card with the PIO's email on it. So I'm still left with no answers. And President Trump, who said that the Parks Department will show you the evidence, is wrong. They're either not listening to him or there is no 350-foot slit, as far as we know, because so far there's no evidence.
There you go, Jacob.
I love that he still found a way to complain in the middle of
with the
report.
weather. With the
Oh,
weather.
the weather's awful.
Okay, so look, we have been calling people all day long connected with the construction of this reflecting pool, and we have not gotten a single answer on
I think that's
the
shocking
phone.
that they're not going to speak, especially after the president has laid it out. They're not going to go against it.
Well, we've made literally 100 phone calls, and nobody's returning the call. So what we decided to do was contact two experts who really know their stuff.
Have decades in resurfacing pools.
They own pool companies, big pool companies. One of them, the first one we're going to introduce you to, did not want to use his name. There is concern about
stepping into the middle of this
political mess, but he knows his stuff, and he was willing to come on where we can hear his voice. So, sir, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. So, look, I have seen what you believe, but why don't you kind of lay it out for our viewers? What are you seeing about this construction that gives you pause?
Well, just from the way it's peeling up, it seems to me like the preparation wasn't correct. It's not a proven product, I don't think. Like, I doubt they've used it on anything underwater before.
You're talking about the paint that they put down.
It didn't adhere properly. So
why would that be the case? Because I know that you had told our producer that it's either rubber or paint. So could you be even more specific?
Okay, so I don't know the specific material they used, but like, first of all, you can't put a dark coating on an open area like that in direct sun, or the sun will bubble it off the surface that you're trying to adhere to. And I think another problem is that surface wasn't dry enough, because from what I'm seeing on the news, it's peeling up in chunks. If it had adhered properly, they could have cut it 50 times lengthwise with a knife and it wouldn't peel up like that. There's water or a separation underneath the coating.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with peroxide. I mean, that coating should be chemical proof. It didn't bond correctly.
Yeah, there were some people who speculated that once they poured the chemicals in to break down the algae, that maybe that damaged the surface.
Yeah,
and you're
that's
saying
not it.
That wouldn't be it.
From the way it's peeling up, it's all adhesion. It didn't adhere. It doesn't have any structure in it. I do coatings on swimming pools that have fiberglass in it. The fiberglass is like a skeleton in there. It holds everything down and together. But when you're just spraying something like a paint, like pool paints in general, over time bubble.
But this is 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's installation. It was all installation. It seems to me, from what I've heard, it's like truck bed lining. So it's just, I've done coatings like with epoxies on pools. They don't work because they don't have any structure to them. They would bond, and if groundwater came up underneath it, it would cause that to peel up.
So if you were doing it, you would have used a fiberglass included with the paint that they're putting down.
Depending on what surface it is. I mean, that's an old concrete surface. They made just one.
In one car, a phone number for the original owner, Leonard.
I'm gonna phone him. Might be too early for a phone call, or maybe looking at a number they don't recognize. Hi, is that Leonard?
Yeah.
Leonard, this is going to sound like a really weird call. My name is David Common. I'm calling from CBC News. We're doing an investigation into stolen vehicles, and I'm pretty sure I'm sitting in your once stolen vehicle in West Africa. Yeah, I'm in West Africa.
No way.
Yeah. Do you mind if I FaceTime you?
I don't mind at all.
Does this look like your car?
That's it. It was stolen September, October of last year.
And what happened?
So we were going out that day in the morning. My wife went out to get the car, and it wasn't in the driveway. When we checked the video from the camera from the Ring doorbell, at about 3 in the morning, you see a car and 2 guys pull up towards the driveway. And about 4 minutes later, the light goes off. They're gone. The car's gone from the driveway. That's the second car stolen in 6 years.
Really?
From my driveway. Yeah.
I know this is probably not the call you expected today, but your ownership is still in the glove box. Here's your car. There's a car that still has a New Jersey license plate on it. There's a car stolen from North York over there.
I can't believe it. And my documents and everything are still in there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
was, but that night, I noticed a tuft of hair had grown right where he peed on me. Even more terrifying, white whiskers sprouted on my face, and my teeth became noticeably sharper. At first, I didn't think much of it, but the next day, while I was out with the specimen, my body started giving off this strange smell that attracted every stray dog in the area. They didn't seem aggressive, though. They just seemed to like the way I smelled, so I figured why not, and started playing with the dogs alongside my son. What surprised me was how incredibly comfortable I felt being around these animals. That night, when I was getting ready to take a shower, I suddenly noticed that the spot where the hair had grown the night before had swollen up at some point, and it hurt the moment I touched it. I figured it was just an infection, so I sterilized the needle and poked it into the swollen area. What I never expected was that I pulled out a long clump of hair from inside. The strange thing was, after that happened, my sense of smell became incredibly sharp, so sharp that I could pick out every single ingredient in a piece of bread. That night, I was sleeping in bed when I suddenly heard a pack of dogs barking. I got up and went to the door, where I found a group of dogs sitting outside as if they were waiting for me. I felt happy and walked toward them, but the next second, they all lunged at me and started tearing into me with their teeth. The next morning, I told my son about the nightmare I'd had. That's when he walked in carrying a rat. I freaked out and told him to put it down immediately, but he ran outside without even looking back. I chased after him, only to see something horrifying. There were piles of animal carcasses right outside our front door. It wasn't until that moment that I realized last night wasn't a dream at all. I had gone hunting with those dogs and brought all of this back. Once I realized something was seriously wrong, I rushed to the library and checked out a book about legends of humans transforming into animals, trying to figure out why this was happening to me. As the days went on, my behavior kept changing too. One day, while eating out with my son, I completely gave in to some primal instinct, grabbing food with my hands and making sounds that were disturbingly close to a dog's bark while I ate. I didn't stop until I noticed everyone around us staring. That night, I heard dogs barking outside again and decided to go check it out, but the next second, I lost all control of my body. I dropped down on all fours and started crawling like a dog, sniffing the grass on the ground every few steps. In that moment, I had completely become a dog.
Okay, so here I am going into the cab, going to catch a cab, and then I'm like, oh shit, I forgot my sunglasses. So, as I'm going to get my sunglasses, I see this. Now, this makes sense from my previous posts. So I guess my source from last night was accurate. So BB says, we should break free of U.S. military aid. That's right, because the Shanghai, Silicon Valley you have, super panned out. And you know what's funny? This is really funny, you guys, I swear. Wait, let's just pick my sunglasses. Swear they're different, I know they look the same. Same brand, Asian, sticking to the theme, of course. So I hear, I think these look good. What do you think? These are my tortoise shell ones. I'm wearing black, so I think I'm gonna go for the black ones. See, they're different. Gentle monster. I guess that's what I am. Clock it. So, Darien Gap, another border issue. You know, everyone found that there was like an Israeli big.
Your driver's license, registration, and insurance.
I will.
Are we clear?
Yes.
Give it to me.
You'll have to wait one moment.
No, sir, I don't.
For me to look for my stuff?
Sir, you're about to go. You're out of your money.
Are you watching this?
No, watching this. We're
Can
going
you
to
record
this.
this? Are you recording this?
Yes, sir. Hold on. Are you going to give it to me, or are you coming out of the car?
I have to reach for it.
Go, please, go ahead. By
My
all means.
driver's license?
Registration and your insurance,
Okay,
sir.
yeah. So Saturday, we're both working. I'm just dropping
We're
someone
both
off
not
for-
doing the same thing, sir. I'm providing safety and security, and you're obstructing the
I
roadway.
have to provide safety and security as well.
You're not doing it, sir. You're doing a very poor job. Give me
well, I'm
the
younger
registration
and I have a lot more
insurance.
experience.
I am older. I do have more experience. You are younger, and I wish that you would listen more than you speak. That's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You listen more than you speak. Your registration and your insurance. I'm not here to take your
You were
nonsense, sir.
literally
I'm not here to take your
aggressive. There's a way to do it.
Sir, I apologize that
It's
you
a
feel that
Saturday-
way, but you
no,
have to do as you're told.
that's a deflection.
You have to do as you're
It's
told.
about taking it.
Here's a number that should make every taxpayer's jaw hit the floor: $1.35 billion. That's how much the federal government paid in Canada child benefit payments to temporary residents between 2020 and 2023. You know, every time politicians tell us not to worry about record immigration levels because newcomers pay taxes too, they leave out one huge part of the story, the part where taxpayers are footing an increasingly massive welfare bill. New records obtained by Rebel News from the Canada Revenue Agency show that in 2023 alone, temporary residents received more than $369 million through the Canada Child Benefit Program. Guys, that's not a typo. Temporary residents received more child benefit money than refugees, who received about $346 million. And nearly $19 million went to people listed by the CRA as having no status whatsoever, as in here illegally. Now, before anybody gets upset, and to be clear, I think you should, let's be clear about something else. Collecting the Canada Child...
Did someone steal the throne of Satan? They sure did. They were called the Red Army. Right after the Second World War, they went into Berlin and they took all of the throne of Pergamum, which was an altar, which is what the book of Revelation says is where Satan's throne is. And if you go down onto the ground in Pergamum, where they took the throne of Satan from, you can see right here that this is his view that he had of the world. And this would be where the throne of Satan originally sat, in Pergamum. And that's next on the trumpet. Book of Revelation, chapter 2. Verse 12, the church in Pergamos, where Satan's seat is, where Satan dwelleth. That's what it used to look like before they disassembled it and brought it to Berlin. So where Satan dwelleth and Satan's seat is right there reassembled in Berlin. Saint Antipas was executed in a brazen bull right there, the faithful martyr. Antipas was my faithful martyr who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth. That's where it used to be before they moved it to Berlin. And then they disassembled Satan's seat where Satan dwelleth and took it to Berlin. Antipas, the faithful martyr that was executed in the brazen bull, was also a disciple of John the Apostle, who wrote the book of Revelation. He was in that bull right up there before they disassembled and took this whole complex from there and took it to Berlin before the World War ever started. The Red Basilica is also there in Pergamos. The Romans, when they were constructing the biggest church in the world, St. Peter's Basilica, put a piece of a red wall right underneath the main high altar. The computer says even though all these things point to it, there's no evidence of it. You got to go through a couple of entrances in the underground necropolis of St. Peter's Basilica just to hit that red wall. And the red wall is underneath that vent in the floor, right in the middle of the basilica. Through that vent, behind that dragon, right in front of that dragon. The dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. I go by Ezekiel 33:3, and that scripture says that when I see the sword fall upon the land, I'll blow the trumpet and warn the people. So like and follow the trumpet for more. And in Jesus' name, have a blessed day.
This guy is ready for president. I do like how the fact that we go from Elon Musk is responsible for 4.5 million deaths. He should be subpoenaed. He should be investigated. To Elon Musk saying, you know, you're lying about me and say that I'm responsible for murdering children. I'm going to sue you. He's like, hey, dude, why so angry? I thought you liked free speech, man. You know, when a sitting congressman says that an individual American should be investigated and prosecuted for the murder of 4.5 million kids, when he should be investigated and subpoenaed to testify over the deaths of 4.5 million kids worldwide. That goes beyond just exercising free speech. You're a sitting congressman. You have power. You have influence. Number one. But number two, it's like, hey, dude, why are you threatening lawfare? This is the guy who can wield the law against you. He's literally a lawmaker. He's a congressman. This is the guy calling.
You might as well throw that fucking badge away on the ground because you're not fighting for justice or the people. You're in a gunfight to kill the enemy. That dude is the enemy right there. He is the enemy, and you fuck being a cop, dude. You got to take him the fuck out. In those particular situations like that, positive identification is just simply not as paramount as a regular call for service. I think I see him, or this is it the same guy? It's just reactionary to an ambush in wrong place, wrong time for a lot of people.
She wasn't shooting recklessly, right? She wasn't just blasting in every direction and a civilian got hit. It was crap, there, quick, just poof, done. And then she went back to what she was doing, right? She identified a threat that she thought was threatful. Whether it was or wasn't to her, remember, her situation is gonna be a lot different than anybody else's perspective. If she felt like she was threatened in any way.
That's not a 30 by 30 thing. That's not a female cop thing. I'm not gonna justify hiding tactic. Like, I'm not gonna go down that, but I can understand in that scenario where you have a rifle rounds whizzing by your head, your buddy's bleeding out next to you, there's complete chaos, and again, the dude's clothing seemed to match pretty somewhat in the ballpark of the shooter. I can understand. This isn't like a taser bang. This isn't, it just happens to be a female. It looks bad, but I don't think in the scope of, like you said, it is a war. This isn't a call for service. This isn't like a routine patrol. It's a fucking war. There's a dude with a fucking rifle sending rounds at people. It's like, you're in a war right now.
Hey, if you guys enjoyed that last clip, please consider subscribing. We are the news entertainment broadcast for veterans, first responders.
The car was sent for a tow, a cleanup, an auction, all very expeditiously. They didn't want to keep this for evidence. But of course, John Bray, who immediately identified the mic as the potential source of a shaped charge explosion, was on the pursuit looking for shattered ABS glass from the Rode Wireless Pro. Unbeknownst to me, I got this evidence, and it's the first thing he saw. I'm very convinced by his arguments, but to play devil's advocate, I had to imagine that it could have been maybe a pair of sunglasses that were accidentally stepped on and then shattered all across the floorboard. I had that scenario at a very low probability, but nonetheless, it's good not to convince yourself of what you're seeing. But I can now state confidently that I believe the bits that were on the floorboard of the SUV are indeed Charlie's shattered Rode mic, because one of you sleuths reached out to us with a rather fine detail. I love you guys. You're always paying attention. I'm just going to read the email. It says, "Hi, Candace and team. This may be nothing, but I believe you guys need to try and enhance the images on the back of the SUV, specifically the black shards, because when I look at the images unenhanced, there seems to be a number of the shards that have white on them, both on the floor and the crease of the seats. See screenshots of the videos that you shared from the show. If you study the images of the Rode Wireless Go microphone, they have several white details on them. And if you can enhance the SUV images, I'm confident that you will be able to identify parts of the microphone body by the shards. I'd also be interested to see an image from a different angle so that we can see the piece that I have indicated by an arrow on the one image. Again, it could be nothing, but I think you guys will have access to much better enhancement tools as well as all the angles. I just have a feeling that those little shards with the white on them hold the key to whether your suspicion about the exploding mic is plausible. All the best." Well, what do you know? Here are the images that they attached from our earlier show, and they were circling what they thought could be some white on them, which would be like the Rode microphone. Of course, it does say Rode on it in white. Do we have that Rode image too of the mic? There you go. So this is what they're looking for. They're going, actually, there's writing on that. So if it was all over him, you're going to get pieces that have white on it. And so we enhanced the images. And I am further compelled that this person is correct. I will show you this, particularly because I thought you could say, oh, maybe that's a sun glint here and there. Not on that piece on the right-hand corner. That is white on there, and on some other pieces. We can go closer here so that this person can see it even better. That's white. This is not someone's sunglasses that we are looking at. I can show you another more enhanced photos here, particularly that one in the right corner is just so obviously a piece of a shard of something. And I believe this is Charlie's Rode microphone. This person was on the money. There is white. There's predictable white, of course, on the edges. That sort of happens when you shatter glass in general. But I also wanted to show you guys these, hyper-focused pieces so that you could see that this person is definitively onto something. Now, I also want to show you, because there's a pocket of the internet for everything, a video of some guy on YouTube who just decided to break his Rode wireless mic for funsies. Nothing to do with Charlie Kirk case. Not sure the context of this. Assuming this guy's super rich, because this is like $1,500 to purchase these things. But let's take a listen.
I am basically going to destroy my Rode Wireless Pros. I still use these things and love them, but in my review, I talked about this candy mirror finish and how nothing sticks to it.
Starts breaking it. You can see that's what it looks like is on the car floorboard.
No kidding. Okay. Or very carefully getting under here, and I'm splintering glass bits all over the place. So at this point, I'm going to say it's safe to say don't do this at home. Also, it kind of makes sense that this is glass, because if you think about like iPhones, you know, they have that glass backing for antennas and such. So I guess that's where the antenna is on here. I don't know, but I'm guessing that's what's up. At the very least, now we get to see what's underneath a Rode Wireless Pro.
That is what it...
There's been a lot of criticism of the female officer, like this, for example. The female cop, Aesthetica. And by the way, Aesthetica is a good account. I follow. Oh, I guess I don't follow, but I should. Now I follow. A good account on X to follow. Writes the female cop just executed a random bystander trying to get away from the shooter. And then when the real shooter came, she flees, leaving 2 people dead because of her incompetence. What the hell are we doing allowing female police officers? Now, I agree that as a matter of public policy, we almost certainly should not have female police officers. Certainly not female police officers who cannot perform physically at the same level of male officers, which would be virtually none of them. We've all seen these petite little female officers, or some of them not so petite in height, often not so petite in girth. But who are the other male cops gonna fuck? The police officer, the Secret Service agent at the Trump assassination, right? I thought I pulled her photo aside here. Well, I guess I misplaced it. But we all remember Miss Girthy, Secret Service agent, couldn't reholster her gun. So as a matter of policy, I would agree that in general, it's probably not a good idea to have female police, at least not female police officers we expect to get into gunfights. We want some version of police officers that don't carry guns and just do administrative work, which is what most police officers do all day. They're not spending their day getting into gunfights. If we want some kind of administrative police officer, and they're women, I guess that's fine. Kind of a police slash ticket writer, social worker. But we ought not expect them to be getting into gunfights, because very few of them are going to be able to do it competently. Having said that, the truth is, when we watch this video, and let's watch it again from the start, with a particular emphasis on the civilian who shot. The civilian's coming up now. She twists her entire body and articulates her arms in such a way that it certainly looks like she's pointing her handgun at that civilian who was shot and killed. But the truth is, we literally do not know what shot killed that civilian. We know. There was a rifleman had them under fire. For all we know, the rifleman shot and killed that civilian, not the female police officer. So we don't know that she negligently, recklessly shot that civilian. We don't even know that she fired that fatal shot at all. There's good reason to think that civilian might have been killed by the active shooter, by the rifleman, not her. So she may not have done, well, I mean, listen, her tactics just suck. But we don't know that she fired that fatal shot. But everyone watching this video presumes she did. And maybe she did. My point is, we cannot tell that with any sense of certainty merely from these video clips that we have. Now, let's presume she did fire the shot. Would that be a crime? Obviously, it's a bad outcome. Right? You would not want to deliberately, knowingly just shoot a civilian who's seeking shelter from the active shooter, just like you are. But would it be a crime? Because nobody is required to make perfect decisions when they're acting in self-defense. We're required to make reasonable decisions in self-defense. Could this have been a mistaken but reasonable decisions under the circumstances? And keep in mind, if you were to prosecute this female officer for shooting this rabbi, you'd have to prove that she was being unreasonable under these circumstances, beyond any reasonable doubt, if we were in an American court. I don't do Canadian law, but for discussion purposes. And we also have to take into account that, as I said, as a matter of policy, I don't think it's a good idea to have female police officers. But we do have them. And we give them training. And we purport to teach them how to shoot and how to handle life and death stress like a gunfight. And we put them out on the street with a service pistol. And we tell them to engage these kinds of active shooters.
We're running the scenario that this could be an inside job. That would mean that the feds came in to do a cleanup job of the evidence, which would have included, as we mentioned before, the car. Right? This was the most compelling piece of evidence that...
So Variety wrote that this new Army Hammer movie called Citizen Vigilante, the quote rating system refused to give us a rating in Germany according to the director Uwe Boll. So now you can only watch it if you bring in a Blu-ray from Austria or Switzerland. And I think that they did that on purpose. It was a deliberate censorship decision, Boll said to the Daily Telegraph. I hired a lawyer to complain about it, but we lost in a 6-2 vote as I was told that the film was inciting violence against migrants. Citizen Vigilante, Variety reports, which begins with a mother being stabbed to death by migrant criminals in front of her son, features Hammer as Sanders, an ordinary man who is enraged by the breakdown of law and order and decides to deliver vigilante justice to criminals and the corrupt officials that protect them. His targets are mostly, but not exclusively, migrants. Citizen Vigilante, and this is important, according to Variety, was inspired by a notorious case in Hamburg in 2016 when a group of teenagers gang raped a 14-year-old girl and left her for dead, only for the perpetrators to walk free with suspended sentences. Both told the Daily Telegraph, if you look at what happened in Hamburg where the rapists walked free without any penalty, the coverage in the media was like, oh, the poor perpetrators. It's as if we're living in a completely insane and absurd political environment, especially in Europe, where people have completely lost track. There's a huge difference between so-called hate speech and stabbing people in the neck, but facts don't matter anymore. It's absurd how I feel politically. Now you're being told that if you're a conservative about anything, social, sexual, political, that you're a Nazi. But this is how things stand at the moment. If you question anything, such as hundreds of billions being pumped into Ukraine, then you're either a friend of Putin or a Nazi or both. When the Telegraph asked him if he was a Nazi, Boll laughed before answering, I am not a Nazi, according to Variety. Let's roll this clip of the trailer and get your reaction on the back end.
What was it? Traumatic integration?
We're all getting mental help now and support. We will be better in the future. I promise that.
It's the right answer. The only problem is that on your social media, since the event, I've not seen any regret or empathy. In fact, I think you said that she deserved to be raped.
What I mean is that they dress wrong and just make boys horny with their miniskirts. They show their legs and breasts.
You wrote that she deserved it.
I will delete it.
Are these the values you're teaching your children?
I teach him the values from Quran and these values from our family.
Well, if these are your values, that women...
This Australian woman who has just returned from Vietnam has declared some food items on her passenger card.
She's declared food. She declared 2 mooncakes, and she said there's beans in them, so they're okay. We checked those.
She has also brought some sealed packets labelled as tea, but there is something else hidden inside.
In them, we found all these packets of green tea. When I open the green tea, it's just a mixture of tobacco, fresh leaves, more tobacco. I don't know what this is, but it's some sort of blend. But it's all been concealed.
Because of all the prohibited food, biosecurity officers may have grounds to issue a fine of $340.
You only declared food, and you told me you had mooncakes with bean in it.
But that one is a tea for, the tea I put together.
But it's not tea, it's fresh plant material.
No,
it's highly prohibited.
No,
from
that is a bringing tradition tea.
No,
I can give you the
It's labeled green
outlet.
tea, but it's bark, it's leaves. It's all prohibited from bringing
Oh,
in.
no, but I bought in the
and I
shop.
believe that you concealed it.
But I bought in the shop like that because they're not
No,
first
the packets
class.
have been resealed. We can see that.
Officer Heather doesn't believe the woman's story, but the passenger is adamant that she is telling the truth and that the ingredients are only to make tea.
No, I just put like that, something like that. I example this something, and I chop the smallest one, and I put in the water. I boil it, I drink. That's it. So that is not fair for me.
Biosecurity officers need to decide if this concealment requires a prosecution.
I still want to look through the rest of the bag because we haven't checked that yet. So we might find more, I don't know.
But when the bag is searched, officers are completely shocked at what they find.
Oh my head. What we have here, US dollars.
Officers from Customs and Border Protection are immediately called.
We stopped as soon as we saw the money. Can I take that out? Okay. Counterfeit US dollars. So, and that entire bag is full of counterfeit US dollars.
The money could be considered counterfeit, but they're a very bad imitation of the US $100 bill and would be hard to pass off as legal tender. Officer Tim has seen this before and realizes that they are actually intended for a cultural ceremony.
It's her belief that it's being used for a ceremonial use, so she's already saying that it's going to be used in conjunction with a funeral. We have seen these sort of things during Chinese New Year, so obviously there might not be sort of a criminal perspective on what goods are today.
The fake money is on joss paper, and it is burnt as a symbolic offering at a funeral in respect to the departed, or used at other occasions to bring good luck.
I'm just going to explain it, because it's imitating currency, even though it's a pretty naive attempt, and I know why you brought it in. You brought it in for the funeral purposes, okay? As it's part of your religion at the moment. As it does imitate the US dollar bill, we've got to assess it with the Australian Federal Police, and they'll determine whether or not, they're going to seize it or if they're going to let you go with it
You can
today,
do
okay?
everything you want.
All right, that's very accommodating of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do everything you want.
Biosecurity officers now issue her with a $340 fine for not declaring all of the prohibited food. She is then escorted to the Customs and Border Protection area, and the AFP are called in to decide what action.
Pleasure to welcome you back to our studio. Thank you very much for making the time.
It's good to be back.
We are not far away from a very significant deadline when it comes to the trade agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Do you, sir, have a gut feeling as to what will happen on July 1st?
I don't think, obviously, we're not anywhere close to announcing any type of a framework or an interim agreement. I really think it's in the hands now on our side. It's going to be the president, and I'm assuming on the Canadian side it will be the prime minister to determine what the next steps are and directionally where we're.
This is a PSA because it was just brought to my attention that the Trump administration is pushing for the institutionalization of people with disabilities again. After a court hearing in 1999, basically made it so that they would be integrated and be part of society. I worked in group homes before my kids were born. And I need to tell somebody or just yell this out into the world what happened to those people in institutions. If you haven't heard of the Laconia State School in New Hampshire, you should look into it. There is a documentary about what happened there. A lot of my clients that lived in the homes that I took care of were part of that institution and others in Massachusetts. Not one of my girls got out of that institution without notes in their file about bruising around their private areas, changes in behavior. A lot of them just learned to sleep on their backs and put pillows over their bums, hoping that they could get a good night's sleep. They still did it even when they lived in my home. They are not properly cared for. There's not enough funding to have enough staff and enough vetting of staff in those kinds of institutions. They didn't have any belongings, and if they did, they were thrown in storage with no name and no organization. When I was pregnant with my first son, I took the $200 that I had gotten for my birthday and went to Target into the little girl section to find one of my lady's clothes that would fit her because she was the size of a child.
It was the first time anybody had gotten her clothes in 30 years. It had all been community clothes. It had been whatever they could put on them. They sterilized them because they continued to get pregnant. They abused them. And now, as mother of a disabled child, people need to wake up and understand that this is all eugenics. This is what they've been trying to do. And this is why we fight. And if nobody sees this video, I will be sad. But even if one person sees this video and looks into the institutionalization of people in the United States, I will feel better. It needs to be stopped. We need to stop it.
Jane Castor is not a real lesbian. She's doing that for clout.
Jane Castor was once the police chief of Tampa Bay. She then became the mayor.
I'm the first gay mayor here.
At a Tampa City Council meeting, Alex Stein showed up with a message for the mayor.
I'm here in Tampa representing the Raise Before Gays coalition. I feel like it is ridiculous that we are spending millions of dollars for gay rights, gay pride parades, when we can't get the Del Mabry Stadium even over the finish line. It's ridiculous. You're going to prioritize gay people instead of the great Tampa Bay Rays. And I, as a sports fan, think that it's unnecessary to put pride flags on athletes' hats because all a pride flag symbolizes is who your sexual preference is, and I don't think sexual preference should be around children, especially sporting events. And for one, I will say that two gay guys can be real. They can have sex, they have an input and whole, but two women cannot have sex. Being a lesbian is fake. I know it, everybody here knows it. That is called being in a phase. When two gay guys kiss, that's gay, am I right? Yes. When two lesbians kiss, that is a Katy Perry song. And you know who I think the biggest offender of that is Jane Castor. I don't believe that she's a real lesbian. And I mean that because all of a sudden she's a 2009 DEI hired police chief and she got the job because she likes to get freaky deaky with chicks. Well, I don't think that she should get a job because she's a sexual pervert. And we need to call that out. So this is what I'm saying. This is a great city. And I agree, we need a black mayor. My grandfather owned plantations. Well, great-great-great-grandfather. And my great-great-grandmother was a slave. So I'm on both sides of the argument. So I do believe in reparations. So when I come to Tampa and I see all of these people struggling behind me, calling you out for your incompetence, and you do nothing. You sit there on your phones and disregard their struggles while you sit around and spend all of your government-earned paycheck trying to make it harder to speak at a city council meeting because you don't want to hear what the people have to say. Well, let me tell you what they have to say. They do not like the job you're doing. Jane Castor is not a real lesbian. She's doing that for clout. Two girls can't make a baby. You know, that's all fake and gay. You let a mayor lie about her sexuality. You won't even get a stadium for the baseball team because of the leadership. I'm looking at you. This city will never achieve the greatness that it deserves. And while these people struggle, and Jane Castor lies about scissoring with her divorced wife and this and that, we know that's all fake. That's why she's getting divorces. And if you actually look up the stats, did you know lesbians have the highest occurrence of divorce? So it's a pain in the ass to date a woman. All right, thank you. That's my time.
Thank you. Mr. Hayes, followed by Caroline Bennett.
Whew, all right, so that was a lot.
Sorry, what's your name again?
All right, Ryan Hayes.
This guy has made millions of dollars selling a wedding planner spreadsheet budget tracker. Look at this garbage. Take a fucking look at this, bro. Right? He has 150,000 fucking sales selling like wedding planner spreadsheet, a budget template, all this fucking bullshit. This guy has made, I did the math, and let's say it's just $10, right? He has products for $16. I'm doing it off of $10. This guy has minimum, bro, that's $1.5 million selling a fucking wedding planner budget tracker. Look at this. Take a look at this. These are my AI agents that I put inside of this ecosystem. They live in the ecosystem. And I have them run autonomous businesses. They run and manage these businesses autonomously. We started an Etsy store. Our Etsy store is almost at $2,500 fucking dollars with just being managed and ran by my AI agents. And I had them produce this here a few minutes ago. Take a look at this, bro. Look at how detailed, look at how solid that looks. And look at this asshole, bro. This guy designed this himself. He probably spent fucking hours designing this shit. And I, dude, pumped this out in 2 seconds. You're thinking too small, man. You're over here, you're on the opposite side of the screen watching this video. And you're like, dude, I want to start a business. I want to do this shit. This dickhead's selling fucking budget spreadsheets, bro. You could sell anything. You're just not thinking about, you're not looking. You have to go on these marketplaces, bro. See what's selling, right? And then just figure out a good business model that you can have your AI agents completely manage and completely do all the work for you, bro. That's all I've been doing. That's all this little factory is. We have our Etsy store running out of here. I can see what my fucking agents are working on. I can see what they're doing in real time, what they're designing, a live fucking feed. I mean, I have a Fiverr service where we're pumping out YouTube thumbnails. And this is for grabs. I'm not even doing this yet. I'm just trying to show you guys what's possible out here. There's so many fucking products. And this is just Etsy, bro. This is just Etsy. What are you doing? What are you doing, guys? What the fuck is... Everyone is doing fuck shit with their AI agents. Have them make you money. They should be paying for themselves, bro. I'm not paying for their fucking bullshit. Ultron runs on Opus 4.6. I'm not paying for that. Claude Max subscriptions are banned now from OpenClaw. You think I'm paying for his fucking API credits, bro? Also, by the way, I've been getting a lot of questions. Andrew, Claude Max is banned, bro. You're gonna be spending thousands a month. Dude, why do you think I have so many agents? I've been preparing for this for months. That's why I have all these agents, is so I can have an Opus 4.6 orchestrator manage cheaper model agents, bro. That's the key, fellas. That's the key. That's how you keep your budget you know, in a good place. That's how you don't spend more than at least $400 a month, right? Especially if it's
No one was talking about orbital data centers 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Nobody. And then all of a sudden,
Sundar's on it.
You're out with it, and
it's the hot new thing.
It is. What happened? What happened that every company is now talking about orbital data centers?
I guess it went viral on X.
It did.
I don't know. Is every company talking about it?
Yeah. Everybody's got their own orbital
Oh,
data
for
centers.
sure. And I was suggesting to Peter that you updated the math on launch costs, and that it's a tipping point very quickly with the updated math.
But
then,
Starship's been the cost for, I don't know what you hold.
Well,
$100 per kilogram, $10 per kilogram. What do you have Starship?
well,
at?
it's possible that Elon said that and nobody believed it until now.
No.
You can go back and look at even back when it was Twitter, my old tweets. I said these things many years ago.
$100 or $10 a kilogram?
Yeah, and I said we're going to do 1 million tons a year to orbit. Yeah, and we've got to get the cost down.
Yeah,
well below $100 a kilogram.
So that's going to move the data centers to orbit.
You can basically do the math. Like if you've got a fully reusable rocket, which is fully and rapidly reusable like an aircraft, then this is a very difficult thing to do. Obviously, I think it's at the limit of human intelligence to create a fully and rapidly reusable rocket. But it is possible, and we're doing it with Starship.
It's been the holy grail in the aerospace industry forever.
Yeah, quest for the holy grail rocket.
Yeah,
and then
it did. I mean, right? Yeah. The DCX was the first little things that were trying there, and it's been back when I was in the space industry, that's all everyone ever spoke about. And then when Falcon 9 first reused its first stage, all the traditional aerospace industries did not believe that even Falcon 9 could fly and reuse.
Literally, you can come see it land at Cape Canaveral.
Yeah.
And then take off again.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would not believe a thing that you can see with your own eyes.
Yeah. Well, they didn't believe it.
The leap from there to the launch cost actually requires more faith than just that. But I think Starship is the launch cost tipping point, and that somewhere in that, before you had Twitter, it became X. Somewhere in that timeline, it went from speculative to no doubt. And I don't know if that's a smooth line or a couple of good launches in between, but I suspect that the data centers in space ties directly to the credibility.
Is not thinking about orbital data centers. They're thinking about energy, the cost of energy here in their hometown, and sort of there's a lot of doomer conversations out there. The data centers are going to drive the CPI up.
They're not entirely wrong.
Okay, so what's the energy solution here on Earth for?
I've ever wondered why Canadians as a whole, the population, are so low IQ. I've talked about this quite a few times, but I find it just fascinating how stupid the mass swath of the Canadian population is. You look down in the States, down in the United States, and again, I played 4 years of professional hockey. I lived in multiple places throughout the States. The U.S. was friendlier, it was safer, they were kinder, and my quality of life from 2022 up until 2024 dramatically better than my quality of life in Canada. And it's interesting because Canadians have always made fun of Americans. Oh, they're dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. They're so stupid. Well, if you look at what has happened in Canada, and let's back this up for a second. I want to go to 2018, 2019. Canadians, we want a bigger minimum wage. Minimum wage people need to get paid more. Well, the problem with the minimum wage going up is that the corporations could definitely afford it, but the bottom level companies can't. That's how you bankrupt small and medium-sized businesses. But so in Ontario, our biggest province here in Canada, they jacked the minimum wage up from $15 an hour to $18 an hour back in 2019. And Tim Hortons immediately started laying off full-time employees and cutting benefits, and we can't afford this. And you think about it in the grand scheme of things, you basically had a 20% increase in your labor. And if I don't know what the exact numbers are, but let's say they're spending, $200 million a year on labor. Now you're spending, do some math in my head, $250 million in labor. Doesn't look good for the shareholders or for the profits. So they started cutting the benefits, they started cutting staff. Everybody's going part-time, so you're not going to get the full-time benefits. And then enter in the scamdemic of 2020.
According to their own logic, USAID caused 187 million deaths.
I'm going to perform a magic trick that's going to blow your mind. First, what I need you to do is imagine a world where Pee Wee Herman was played by Jerry Seinfeld and Batman was played by Cosmo Kramer. Imagine it real hard. Ready? Here's the magic trick. Poof! It just became reality, and I'm going to prove it to you. First, I want to show you this tiny little Seinfeld clip, and remember, they always tell us the truth.
Driver, he's passed out because of all the commotion. The bus is out of control. So I grab him by the collar, I take him out of the seat, I get behind the wheel, now I'm driving the bus. You're Batman. Yeah, I am Batman.
Simple and subtle. That's the way they do it. Yeah, I am Batman. And why?
May I? Oh, no, sorry. I'm saving them. This isn't a game, Mr. Stack. I didn't say it was. You're treating it like it is. I'm treating it with all the respect it deserves.
Mr. Stack? Mr. Dylan Stack?
Yes, present.
Hi, I'm Alicia Floric. We spoke on the
Yes,
phone.
nice to meet you. This is a mistake, Mr. Stack. You walk through that door. We can't help you. Well, what if I walk through that door?
What was that about?
Posturing.
Before we begin, Mr. Stack, I just want to warn you that we are a full-service firm. We don't really take walk-ins.
Well, I'm not technically a walk-in. I called you.
Yes, 10 minutes ago, saying you were walking in.
Sorry, I don't like reservations. I can pay.
For?
Keeping me out of jail.
Are you in danger of going to jail?
Yes. The two men out there are federal agents from the Treasury. They've been following me for the last 2 days.
Why?
I won't reveal the name of my clients.
Okay.
Oh, no, I mean, that's why they're following me.
Hello. If you're agents from the U.S. Treasury and I ask to see your badges, you have to show me them, correct? May I see your badges, gentlemen? Actually, could you pull them higher?
I practice digital information law in New York. The U.S. Treasury wants to arrest one of my clients, a client who asked that I maintain his anonymity. This is a subpoena to submit to questioning or be imprisoned for 18 months.
Why have you come to us?
To you, actually. The rumor is you had your own dealings with Treasury, dealings in which you came out the victor.
Well, I think that's a bit of an exaggeration. And as I was saying, we do have a pretty stable client.
I don't like credit cards or checks.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
Is it counterfeit?
No, why?
Well, the involvement of the U.S. Treasury would suggest some reason for concern.
No, they're after my client for something else.
What is that?
He invented a new currency.
Really? How do you do that?
He invented Bitcoin. It's a digital currency. It's traded and spent online.
Yes, I read about it.
Well, according to the FBI, it is a violation of federal law for individuals to create private coin or currency systems. I think the Treasury feels threatened.
Bitcoin?
Yes, it's an online currency.
But he's not going to pay us in Bitcoin, is he?
No, he's got cash. Lots of it, in fact.
I don't know, Diane. It's the U.S. government. We swore off these charges of the Light Brigade suits.
He swore off the ones based on idealism. This one has cash. And I know how this sounds.
Okay, let's not stick our necks out too far.
When we poke the bear?
I'm tired. I mix metaphors when I'm tired.
How's it going?
No, she sure is different.
You can always get Kurt Leventhal. I have his number right here.
No, I rolled the dice.
Hey, what time are they? Oh, here they are. Hello.
You have the right to remain silent.
Visit me in prison?
Every Friday.
I'm putting on a good face. I'm actually kind of terrified.
That makes sense.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something comforting, like, don't be.
Sorry.
No, I guess the truth is comforting, too.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Stack. We've agreed to take your case.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
But we can't receive the cash. We need a cashier's check.
Yeah. Only in America is greater abstraction more desirable.
Money. That's why we could tell.
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Floyd's client represents a criminal, Mr. Bitcoin.
Excuse me. Mr. Bitcoin?
Yes. That's what we've come to designate the mysterious creator of this new internet currency.
Do you guys at Treasury get a lot of dates?
Yes, we do. Thank you for asking.
And why is this so important?
We believe this unregulated currency is being used in a digital black market, guaranteeing anonymity to money launderers, drug dealers, and child pornographers. And Mr. Bitcoin is attempting to guarantee his own anonymity through the smokescreen of attorney-client privilege.
I don't think I would call attorney-client privilege a smokescreen.
This privilege protects communications between a lawyer and his client, not the client's identity.
Unless his identity is the subject of these communications.
With one exception, the crime fraud exception, which requires that Mr. Stack reveal Mr. Bitcoin if he's in the process of committing a crime.
Which has not been established.
You know, folks, I always wait in court patiently for these little conundrums. That is why God made me a judge, so that I can decide on motions exactly like this. So, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's a joke, folks. Government's motion is denied.
Thank you, Mrs. Florey. Now I have to go meet with some Occupy Wall Streeters.
New clients?
Yes, but these don't pay as well.
Hello again. You're under arrest, Mr. Stack.
You heard the judge's ruling?
Yes, that attorney-client privilege applies. I don't agree, but I respect the law.
And we're done.
No, we're not. I'm arresting Mr. Stack for being Mr. Bitcoin.
Oh, come on.
I am coming on. Mr. Stack presents himself as a lawyer representing the mysterious Mr. Bitcoin, but we've come to realize he is Mr. Bitcoin, and the penalty for creating a currency is 10 to 30 years. You're under arrest, Mr. Stack.
Your Honor, Mr. Hicks does not believe that my client is Mr. Bitcoin. He is using this arrest to apply pressure in counteraction to your ruling.
Yes, Mr. Hicks. The timing of the arrest does seem strangely coincidental.
Bitcoin has incorporated. Your Honor, here are the incorporation papers. As you can see, the only signature evident is that of Mr. Stack.
Because he's Bitcoin's lawyer, not its creator.
Bitcoin has subcontractors, computer entrepreneurs who supply animation or random coding. As you can see from these affidavits, their only contact was with Mr. Stack.
Because Mr. Bitcoin wanted to remain anonymous.
Really, Mrs. Florey? Must we all use Mr. Bitcoin now?
Occam's razor, Your Honor. The person signing the checks, incorporating, and becoming the public face of a company is the company.
Your Honor, these documents don't prove anything.
But they are evocative. And I must say, I am a sucker for Occam's razor. So, I will grant Mr. Stack bail and hear arguments tomorrow.
Died in my hands. After the torture, after the beating and the electric shock, he died. Okay, my name is Morgan Chikadibia Tamunasiki Jaja from Obobo Kingdom, Rivers State. I was actually working for a car rental company in Dubai. I affiliate with them. I help them get customers and I make my commission. Yeah, but back then when I was in Dubai, everything was okay, perfect. Everything was fine. We were living okay till I got back home to Nigeria. That was where everything, just became difficult. The year I got this contact was 2024, ending of 2024. I actually met this guy in Dubai, a friend of mine. I won't actually call him a friend. Let me just call him an acquaintance. We're not like friends. So I met him in Dubai. We exchanged contacts. That was in the deportation camp before we got back to Nigeria, all right? So there was a day I was actually going through my WhatsApp status. I came across his post. Then I greeted him because it's been a long time. We actually had a conversation after I got back from Dubai. So we just had a little conversation and that was it. Then one day I was scrolling through my Facebook. I actually saw an advert on Facebook. So this advert on Facebook, they were advertising a country whereby they said they can actually sponsor your visa and your flight ticket. But then I don't really buy the idea of getting a job or looking for a job online because I believe that this online stuff, they are filled with scammers, you understand? So then I just overlooked it. One day I was scrolling through my TikTok, WhatsApp status, I came across this guy's post. Then I chatted with him. We had a little conversation and he asked me how I was faring. So I told him, bro, things don't read for this place. So I'm even looking for a means to japa because when I came back, I had to start processing my papers again to travel out. But the agent I was working with scammed me. So he told me that he himself is also working on his own papers to travel to China. So I told him, bro, I'm looking for a job. I don't even know how to start all over again. It's just been kind of difficult for me now. He said, regarding to that he has a friend that he met in Dubai who is a Chinese. That this guy once told him that he needed workers in his company if I would be interested. Then I was like, what's this job all about? What's the company all about? He said he didn't actually ask the Chinese guy what the company was and what he does because they are not actually that close, you understand? I said, okay, maybe you can share his contact with me. He said yes. Then we exchanged contact. He exchanged the contact of the Chinese guy with me. I chatted the guy, and he asked me who gave me his contact, which I told him. I don't want to mention the guy's name yet. So I told him, and he said, okay, that he has, he's looking for workers in his company. Then I asked him what his company does. He said they sell gold. So they are looking for online marketers, people that will help them market get customers from online to market their goods. I was like, okay, that is okay. Then he asked me what I was doing. I told him I was a salesperson as well in Dubai. I was, renting cars for people. I get customers and bring to the company and I make my commission. He said that's exactly the kind of people they want, and that he's going to send me a Telegram link. That on the Telegram I have to undergo some interview, and when I pass the interview, then I should find myself lucky that I've gotten the job. He went ahead to ask me how old I was, my marital status, and the rest. I told him everything. Then he said, okay. He sent me the link. Then I clicked on the link. I think I saw some other people there, but actually they set the Telegram in a way whereby you cannot write anything. Only the admins has the right to send messages on the Telegram. So then this lady chatted me privately and told me that she is the admin and that she's the one that will be interviewing me. So she gave me time. When it was time for the interview, I got prepared, I waited. So she called me.
Get a load of this woman. So she walks into a taco spot in Phoenix called Pool Boy Taco. Took one look at the two white owners. She decided the entire restaurant was giving off racism, misogyny, and pedophilia vibes. She didn't complain about the food. She didn't complain about the service. She complained because the owners were white.
Trigger warning, this is a unfriendly review of Pool Boy. I really thought I wasn't gonna like this place because I'm just over kind of white restaurant culture here in the Valley. I think the food quality isn't that great, and white culture in general in the US is giving racism, misogyny, and pedophilia these days. And it's just such a bummer to see another duo, white men, brothers, opening a really, really mediocre restaurant. Overall, I think this place really represents the state of America. It's white men doing things that aren't that great or remarkable just because they're the only ones who have the capital to do it, because of centuries of the patriarchy and racism.
This is the level of brain rot that we're dealing with. People have been so damn trained to see racism and everything that they're walking into small businesses, seeing two regular guys trying to make a living, and immediately they assume that they must be bigots or worse, all based on their skin tone. This isn't activism. This is just low IQ race obsession, dressed up as moral superiority. It's the exact kind of nonsense that's making normal people completely exhausted with this whole conversation. If you're in Phoenix area, go visit these guys and support them. They don't deserve to get attacked for running a business while being white.
Okay, so there's two things that we have to go over in this video. The first one is the comments. How are people responding to this? They're calling out her actual account. White liberal women have a mental disorder. White girl trying way too hard. Liberal women should be institutionalized. Okay, good. So we pretty much have a consensus that these people are out of their mind. Now, I found the actual account of this girl, so let's go ahead and watch her. She actually made a response to this video, so let's just take a look here.
I spoke to a journalist with Arizona Republic last week, and the article is finally out, so we're going to live react to it. On June 1st, Lily Kaplan, a white woman, oh my god, I love it so far, posted a TikTok video bashing.
Again, this is her. She is so cringe. I've already watched this.
White culture in the U.S. is giving racism, misogyny, and pedophilia these days. She said, going with specific critiques on the menus. First of all, I subscribed, but this thing is riddled with ads. The restaurant is named for the festival award-winning taco that inspired the concept and is a play on the owner's last name. Festival award-winning taco, it's pay to play. The other polls have chosen to stay mostly out of the online kerfuffle. In an exclusive interview with the Republic, Aaron responded to her criticism. Oh my god, quote, "You don't know me." Okay, you don't know me, he said. It's not that I have a lot of money. I have debt from operating through the pandemic. That was the first thing he wanted to say. Kind of what you're not saying is a lot, I've been building this brand for 6 years. It's all the life experience I've gone through, put together. I fear we can tell, bro. Kaplan denied that her video was about cultural appropriation, because I really can't speak to that. She said, white people oh my god, girl. Did you have to include the like? She went on to say that she wanted to use social media to spark conversations about the Epstein files. I didn't specifically say that. I said I think it's crazy that we're not talking about it. It's okay to click outside of your cultural heritage. You're giving back the profits to the community that you're kind of celebrating, then yeah. She talks about pizza. Okay, just real quick with that, you hear what she said? She said if you have a taco shop, that you should be giving your profits back to the Mexican community. I mean, these people are just insane. Italy isn't really seen as a group that's been discriminated against as much as Mexicans have here in the US, especially here in Phoenix. To bring up pizza and mixology is kind of ignoring the fact that people are racist against Mexicans. Tacos are Mexico's gift to the world. There's one thing I can't get past. Oh, my heart just dropped. Robust debate and thoughtful dialogue is vital. Rage bait isn't. It's just an opinion that I have. I'm just frustrated with the Epstein stuff. It's not just the Epstein stuff. If you mention Epstein, they're gonna pick up on it. I barely mentioned Epstein to her. I just had the vibe that they don't represent diversity. I understand that is a wild thing to say in a food review. If they're not aligned with Trump and pedophilia, then we should talk about it. I found no record of anything to corroborate her outlandish claims. Wait, what are my claims? If you're aligned with Trump, you're aligned with pedophilia. That's kind of facts at this point. I asked her.
These people are so indoctrinated and brainwashed. They don't see it. They don't understand that they're so far gone. They should be in a straitjacket.
Are you talking to my client without his lawyer present?
And you are?
Saul Goodman. I'm Mr. Molina's attorney, and you're in violation of his constitutional rights.
It's all good, man.
Really? Come on, that's your name? Listen, officer.
Special agent.
Oh, the DEA. Oh, I see. Okay, the feds. Well, what, they don't teach the Constitution at Quantico these days?
Yeah, Quantico is FBI.
I don't care. DEA, FBI, Department of Sanitation. It's time for you two gentlemen to vacate the premises. There's the door. Shoo, shoo. Go away.
Your client waived his right to an attorney.
Well, he most certainly did not.
Yeah, I did.
Zip it. Okay, nobody's talking to you.
No, he wants to talk to us.
He's confused, okay? He was dropped on his head as a child.
I want to talk.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Sounds like he does.
You just, one moment. Come here. Come here. Okay. You talking to me like you're killing me here, man. Okay, look. My client is making what I believe to be a grave error. Also, showing a heartbreaking lack of faith in his attorney. And I'm not gonna lie, it hurts. He insists on dealing, so let's talk turkey.
You know what? We're not interested. I feel like my chain is being jerked, and not in a good way, if you know what I'm saying.
There's no half mil. Never was.
Yep. Bullshit. I called it good.
You did.
Hold on, guys.
I gotta love this pops.
Wait a second.
Have a great afternoon.
Hold up, guys. 1 second.
We're done in here.
Guys, what if we say it's contingent?
Contingent? On what?
Results. Mr. Molina will stay in custody while you verify his very...
If we continue to follow and work upon this hypothesis, then it inevitably suggests what we've all suspected, that Tyler Robinson is indeed a patsy. And in order to become a patsy, to be clear, you have to have a really bad friend in your life, right? Someone that is close to you and that is willing to set you up to either gather or plant evidence against you. Someone with access to your gun, access to your clothes. Like, I don't know, a roommate who you're maybe dating and becomes the only source of clear evidence, quote unquote, clear evidence against Tyler Robinson in the form of a dramatized text confession, which doesn't pass the sniff test, a handwritten note that was subsequently destroyed, which doesn't pass the sniff test, because why would you handwrite anything if you're gonna just text everything out anyway? The person who, curiously, is not held for questioning by the FBI, is that kind of mysterious? Yeah, I would imagine if we take our theory to its natural end, Lance Twiggs might be a federal asset, a very protected federal asset. And things are pointing in that direction, because yesterday, news came in, rather a verdict came in. Judge Graff, which is difficult to explain. Given the extraordinary role that Lance Twiggs played in shaping the narrative against his alleged boyfriend, you might think that the judge in Utah would honor the defense's request to compel Lance to show up to the preliminary hearing, which is set for the week of July 6th. Like, you're the basis of this entire case against our client. If you assume that, though, that he would say, yes, you have to come because the defense wanted to subpoena him, you would be wrong, because the judge has just denied that request, okay? So just to remind you, the prosecutors in this probable cause hearing plan to represent Erica. She is the listed victim on this case, and they plan to present, at that time, a recorded statement from Lance Twiggs at the preliminary hearing. So essentially, Lance Twiggs is allowed to testify against Tyler Robinson in the form of a recorded statement. Robinson's team therefore argued that they should be allowed to have the opportunity to cross-examine him. Otherwise, it's hearsay. They're just allowed to say, hey, I got a recording of a guy who says you did it. Okay, but I say I didn't do it. Well, it doesn't matter because I have this recording. Twiggs now lives out of state, but the judge has ruled that the purpose of this hearing is not going to be to decide upon Robinson's guilt, but rather to determine if there's enough evidence to move the case forward. So they've said, it's allowed. I allow it. It's a hearing that is allowed to move forward, built on hearsay. This is what we mean when we say that this case is going to be a show trial. That's a show trial. If you can just bring evidence into the courtroom and that evidence does not need to be vetted, then the judge is saying that's perfectly fine at this stage, that's a show trial. Could you just put yourself in that circumstance, okay? Lance says it happened, and you have no right to examine the evidence of what he's pretending, right? They have not been given access to Tyler Robinson's text messages to make sure they're real or that they were indeed sent from their client's phone that was in Tyler Robinson's confession. Nope, they said no. We're just bringing the printouts. These are the messages. Trust me, bro. They are not allowed to question the person who says that he found the notes. They're just going to play a recording of him saying that they found it. Imagine that scenario in your own life. You get hauled in, arrested for murder, and someone says, yeah, well, this person says that you did it, and we have a recording of him saying you did. And they're like, that's enough. Judge Graff says that's enough. We don't have to produce anything else for this preliminary hearing. You got to rot in prison until the real trial happens. That is why people believe the fix is in, and I am among the people in that perspective. Like I said, the hearing is going to be scheduled for the week of July 6th. I will be away on vacation, but maybe I'll have to set something up with you guys to watch it live and respond to it, because this is so far beyond anything that we could have imagined. We're just living through JFK all over again.
You were taking my demeanor differently because I'm some punk white boy, right? If I wanted to, I'd already disarm you and shot this with his own pistol.
Police responded to a disturbance involving an inebriated man arguing with staff and a companion in an Illinois Hampton Inn lobby. With options on the table, Ryan chose to go head-to-head with the law.
Hey, boss, what's going on? What's up, Fred? What's going on, man? That's it. Everything okay? Hell yeah. She's gonna go wherever you want to take her.
Please.
Okay. There's no domestic, so if you want to make it domestic, you can do it. All right, so now what are you pulling up for?
She is not safe. She's not safe? I bought this car. I bought this Uber right here for her. She needs to go.
You bought that Uber?
They need to go a different.
Then I got her treated.
She came down.
Officer, I don't know what you're doing, but hey, don't touch me either. You're cornering my space. What are you talking about? I know what you're doing. You touch me and you corner my space, you're under my authority. What are you talking about? You're cornering my space. I'm going to tell you again. You corner my space, it's going to go difficult for you. What are you talking about? Hey, I'm telling you right now. I am with it.
There's zero reason.
There is zero reason. Why is your officer cornering me?
Because you're walking around a lot.
What do you mean? I didn't walk nowhere. I walked here.
I'm between you and him.
What do you mean? All right, go ahead. Step between him. She's so scary. All right, there you go. You got his demeanor, right? You got his demeanor, right? I'm well aware of what I'm doing. Y'all got me up. I'm well aware of what I'm doing. She's in no danger.
Can you just stop for a second?
I will stop when you guys stop.
We're trying to calm the situation, and you're getting all amped up.
It is right here.
She can't. This is it right here.
Hey, this is it right here. Right, yeah, because we just pulled up like this right here.
Do you want to go in this Uber?
No, she doesn't. She's just lying.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I will let you give her 1 second. She's just lying about it. No, you want me to act like I'm not acting like I'm acting right now because you got me acting like I'm acting right now. So keep acting like it's a front.
Ryan leaned into the confrontation, claiming he was a martial artist and a carpenter, then shifted into talk of fighting and disarming the officers, and it didn't stop there.
I'm telling you guys right now, I'm a mixed martial artist. I'm not registered either. So go ahead and prove what I put you in the hospital for. And that's no threat. I put that on your body camera. You think I want to act like this? I don't want to act like this, and I'm trying not to. So don't put your demeanor as if
2 foreign monopolies are buying a...
If you have it together enough to wake up and be like, oh, I wonder what's going on. Like if you have it together enough to have one crumb of awareness, you're in the race to beat most people. It doesn't mean the work's done. It doesn't mean you're gonna get there without effort. It doesn't mean it's not gonna be hard. But if you have a crumb of awareness that like life sucks, but maybe it could be better, or that things aren't the way they should be, maybe I can do something to like bring about positive change in the world, you're in the race. You're like qualified, like you made it. You have the jersey on, you have your number, you can like start doing things to like make stuff happen. And most people, just statistically, not most viewers of the show, not most, whatever your little subgenre of person is, you guys are cool, your subreddit's cool, your Discord's cool, like you guys are chill, okay? But everybody else is a fucking moron. If you can wake up a little tiny bit, what you can do is you can start building momentum and start waking up more and start learning how to keep your momentum rolling. This is dumb. Joe Rogan said, the thing he says about treating life like a video game. I'm sitting here in a suit trying to sound smart, and it would not be smart for me to say, you should do what Rogan said and make your life like a video game. But that is true. It's the same thing as being in a video game and having a stick and like 1 gold. And like you got it, like, yo, you got 1 gold and a stick and you're fucking ugly and fat. Like, you open the character screen, it says ugly, fat retard with a stick and 1 gold. Life is a system. It's a system like a game, okay? It's obviously more complex than that. It's reductive to say that it's like a video game, whatever, shut the fuck up, okay? It is like a game. You can get better at it, and you can get yourself to a position where you know what will make you happy, where you know what you should be doing, where you have some agency, where you have like, you are comfortable, you're not constantly beset by anxiety and fucking problems. Like you can do that if you start thinking that.
Oh my God. Go, run.
So I'm really concerned that all Israel has left is nuclear blackmail and or a nuclear false flag or something like it to blame Iran. I really think that's on the table. What does Tucker Carlson think?
I think you're clearly right. I mean, they're saying it out loud, so we're not guessing. I mean, you just interpret their statements, which need very little interpretation because they're pretty direct statements. And I think they reflect reality. It's not a conspiracy theory. They are kind of out of options other than to do something really crazy where lots of innocents die. And I don't see how that's good for anyone. I think Israel's a threat. Israel has one trump card. It's nuclear weapons. And you don't want to put Israel in a position where they feel they have no choice but to use those weapons. I think Israel's always been a lot closer to using nukes than any other country. I mean, we know that because they've said that. And I think they're now closer than they've ever been. So I'm not in charge of anything. I'm just a podcaster. But if I were running the US government, I would, immediately distance myself from Israel, stop paying for their genocide, of course, on moral grounds. But I would also try to calm them down, because if they get too overwrought, really destructive things could happen. That's an absolute possibility.
Now we have all these intelligence people and military over there saying, we need a new 9/11 to show America to get in line. Iran's about to do a new 9/11. Oh, yeah, we know who was heavily involved in 9/11. Clearly, the Likud, Israel, along with some of their own elements, bare minimum stand down, Building 7, the bombs in the buildings. So I'm really concerned that all Israel has left is nuclear blackmail and or a nuclear false flag or something like it.
Right in the middle of your first day follow-up, if you're just joining us, Madison is on the phone and she's getting ghosted by a dude named Jake, so we're about to call him. And
I had mentioned something else to you. I was mentioning it as a soft joke,
This is dreadful. In Canada, an Indian migrant we granted citizenship to showed up at her citizenship ceremony wearing her traditional Indian dress and doing her cringe third worldist dance while receiving it. Take a look.
I had mentioned something else to you. I was mentioning it as a soft joke. Rather, I was acknowledging that on the surface it seemed kind of petty, but it was, for some reason, in the back of my head, something that disturbs me early on. Everyone was talking about Erica's pants and all this stuff. I avoided all that, how she hugged JD Vance. But there was something that was bothering me about Erica's signature, about the way she signed her name that felt weird to me. And I showed you that signature last week, just kind of because someone else had mentioned it on X. I want to see her new signature, Erica Lane, the one that's scratched out. This is her signature that she uses today, and I just don't like it. I can't explain it. I couldn't explain it. Well, lo and behold, I'm glad that we shared that sentiment, because then we got a string of emails from people who knew Erica, and it turns out that Erica completely changed her signature. That's her new signature, okay? When Erica was Miss Arizona, she was 24 years old, to be clear. This is a full adult. She had an entirely different signature. This is the signature, and I'm gonna tell you why this is actually important. Totally different signature, the way she signs Erica. I mean, this is like a totally different person. It is not subtle. People do not change their signatures. You know that, I know that. Least of all when you're 24 years old. You learn cursive, you learn to sign your name, you practice signing your name, and you just do it without thinking for the rest of your life, okay? You can change your last name. You adopt it to how you're already signing your signature when you get married. You don't change your signature no more than you change your fingerprints, okay? It is a piece of your identity, so to speak. So I looked this up, and lo and behold, there have been entire psychological expeditions into exactly the profile and disorder that people have that do this. This is a real thing. And it so clearly, when they identified this disorder, it explains to me exactly what we are experiencing with Erica. It is dissociative personality disorder. We'll scroll through that in a bit. Now, I'm not saying this to be funny or mean. Virtually every descriptive trait of somebody who has dissociative personality disorder matches the experience I'm having watching Erica, okay? Floating between different identities. Seems to be suffering from like an amnesia. I don't think she knows she's lying. It's like she doesn't remember what she says a couple of months ago. In January, she's telling employees via a conference call, she can't wait to meet them. She can't wait to learn their names. She can't wait to see what they're working on. She wants to know their hearts. Fast forward to June. She's now angry on stage telling donors that the plan was always this. She already was at the office every day. Everybody knew she knew everybody's names. She knew every department and exactly what they were working on. She just showed up and just pressed play. Okay? That is not lying. That is a total and complete disassociation from someone that you were previously. And that is what I think so deeply disturbed me when I remembered that conversation that I had with Tucker in Maine, that Erica was radically anti-Israel, that she hated the pastors around Charlie. She was pushing Charlie in this direction. She has now completely dissociated from that previous person. She's now radically pro-Israel. Says it's like brain rot not to be. She's dropping books about Shabbat Shalom. Immediately after Charlie dies, she welcomes Ben Shapiro to open AmFest. That is dissociative. Okay, so, and when you pull this up, genuinely, because it used to be called split personality disorder, they changed it because it makes people think that you're living like 10 identities at once when you say that. That's not what it is, okay? It explains exactly what we are seeing. It explains what I've gone through. As I went through her childhood and her background, I had sensed that there was like some sort of childhood trauma that she suffered, and that is what causes this, people to dissociate from their previous self. The Erica that existed during Miss Arizona years doesn't exist anymore. She has chosen a different character. She became someone else while she was with Charlie. And when I spoke to her ex-boyfriends, they said they literally didn't recognize her. Like not one shred of the human being that they dated for years was present in the Erica Kirk that they are now seeing today. That's not normal. That should not be ignored. Okay, pull up this dissociative identity disorder thing, and it talks about, it's formerly known as multiple personality disorder and split personality disorder, where you have two or more separate identities. Dissociate means to separate or disconnect, right? People with dissociative identity disorder may experience several different personalities, usually referred to as alters, and each identity may have different behaviors, memories, thought patterns, or expressions. She speaks entirely differently from how she used to speak. I've never seen this before. That's what makes me so uncomfortable. It talks about how it may control your behavior at different times. Memories may not transfer from one identity to another. It's like, it causes a sort of amnesia, gaps in memory. When she gets up there and she says, I never dated anyone before Charlie Kirk, you're like, what are you talking about? You never weren't dating before Charlie Kirk. How can you just completely dissociate from the previous self that you were? I don't understand it until I read this, and it's interesting because this is the clinical diagnosis of it, but they also include the spiritual diagnosis of this. Before things were clinical, people believe that this is a form of possession, right? Scroll down here. What are the different types? Possession. Identities present as if an outside being or spirit took control of your body. You might speak or act differently in a way that's obvious to others. It's an unwanted identity, and the personality switch is involuntary. And there were a lot of people that were saying this. It's like she was under some sort of a possession. They don't recognize the person that they are speaking to. So don't dismiss this. I think this is what we're seeing, where she just doesn't really seem like she's here. And she doesn't remember things. And she's lying to us all the time, but she seems frustrated with us for knowing that she's lying. And she's angry. It speaks about that. I think this is something. I really do. I think that this is something, and it talks about, if you scroll down, how the source of this is usually a childhood trauma. The signs here is like those gaps in memory and, delusion, stressed about, if you scroll down here, DID may cause a stressful experience, may include trauma, abuse, stressful experiences. I don't love the relationship she has with her mother. I find her mother, there's just something about the Lori, I'll tell you that much. But this is what we're seeing. And by the way, it's these critical moments as well. Like when we discovered that she presented herself as Catholic right after Charlie died. In the back of the church, pouring her heart out to a woman, talking about how much Charlie loved the Catholic Church. They were going to mass every day, how he was close to converting. This woman flies back to Chicago to bring Erica a relic, and she's totally Catholic. And then the woman is uncomfortable when she then gets invited to Mar-a-Lago, and suddenly Erica's a Judeo-Christian, and there's no mention of Catholicism, and she's a totally different person. That's a disorder, guys. That she can just float in between personalities is not normal, and we should recognize that. I do believe that she has completely disassociated, and it's not because of Charlie, because we examined this. When she met Charlie, she became a totally different person and even completely transformed her signature. Wacky, completely wacky.
This is dreadful. In Canada, an Indian migrant we granted citizenship to showed up at her citizenship ceremony wearing her traditional Indian dress and doing her cringe third worldist dance while receiving it. Take a look.
You're not going to upload this footage, are you?
Oh, it's gonna fuck up the march.
Excuse me?
It's gonna fuck up the march.
We can't put anything about Mark Zuckerberg in this.
Here I come. Oh. Here I come. Oh.
Wow. We make millions already.
You and Mark?
No. I'm working personally doing private equity, but I've worked with Mark on
years.
point.
That's what I got.
It was crazy. They took him away in a stretcher. He was on the ambulance, and they were driving him out of there, and I was looking. I was like, is Zuck going to be okay?
He's a partier.
He's a big partier.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that.
I know. He doesn't have any limits, and he's big into the...
Is he? I didn't know that. I didn't know that about him.
I went to college for it. I have a bachelor's.
Computer science.
Yep. But music technology specifically.
This is Harvard?
No, Yale.
Yale.
So when I went to Yale, it was only 1 year. I did the last year at Yale, and then you get the degree.
Dude, you gotta be smart to get into Yale.
Well, that's the hard part, yeah. I mean, I also did some background. I have a lot of background in finances. That's kind of my specialty.
Jersey. Oh, okay, nice.
So basically my background is heavily in coding and crypto, but I'm not going to get into that now.
Storyline.
But you're not going to upload this footage, are you?
Oh, it's gonna fuck up the march.
Excuse me?
It's gonna fuck up the march.
We can't put anything about Mark Zuckerberg in this. Is this a YouTube video or what?
It's live. Like it's already being clipped up. Like live streaming on Twitch.
No, I'm not doing any live stuff tonight. I just came here to have a little personal time. I came with a couple buddies. But the thing is, we can't have any of that footage actually leak out.
That Mustang's coming on you pretty fast. She just ran a red light.
What's up with you?
Yeah, that's a fast little car. She's right behind you now. All right, just slow down. Let me do this.
Yeah, come down here, fly mode.
Okay. Turn on the lights, turn on the lights, turn on the lights, turn on the lights, turn on the lights. Turn on the lights, turn on the lights. Hey, wait. Turn on the lights. You're in with the federal investigation. We have you on camera. We actually have news reports with us in vehicle. Your case will be referred over to Homeland Security investigation for prosecution. You will be arrested. This is your last and final warning. Hold on a second, guys. Give me your license, please. I will once again tell you, you have cases in danger. Put your vehicle in the park and shut it off, please. I understand, but you are impeding. Look where you are at. You are almost causing an accident. You are surrounded by federal agents. Okay, I am the deputy field officer director here, ma'am. Stand by. We're running the name. We're going to refer this case over for enforcement action.
I'm just a mom, please.
Got it?
Please, I'm just a mom, please. I'm just
Kylie?
a mom. Yes, please, I'm just
You are just, you turn around and get out of here.
I'm getting out of here.
Here you go. Slow down.
Yes.
Hey, guys, I got it. Got it. Everybody break away. Everybody break away.
I'm going home.
Kylie, look at me. Quiet. Look at me. Take a deep breath. Okay, I need you right now. Take a deep breath. I want you to pull over right here and go home. Okay? Take a deep breath.
I'm shaking.
You may leave. Please turn around. I'm gonna stop traffic for you. Go. Okay?
Give me your phone.
You're okay, Kylie. Everybody break away. Everybody go.
What's it like for these towns once Russia can...
This is how I sell electricity to my neighbors in Nigeria and I get paid for it. And the previous video went viral, so I have to explain everything with my new upgrade, which is this battery and this Solax inverter system right here. But before I go into that, let me explain the basics of this process to you guys. So basically, this solar and inverter, I used to have a 10 kilowatt lithium battery here and another 10 kilowatt lithium battery from Texas Energy, which gives a combined storage of 20 kilowatts. I used to have one 10 kV inverter system here and one 5 kV inverter system, which is this guy. So I had to decommission most of those inverter system and the batteries. Previously, it was optional for my neighbors to actually use my electricity. Of course, it was paid from their usage and their consumption. Of course, my usage is free. It's solely dependent on solar. And this was the device that made everything possible, which on my phone, I can easily check the admin app and show you guys what outlet A is doing currently. So currently, they are not using energy and there's nothing going on. So basically, they have an app on their end also, which basically shows them everything I can see. They also can see. They can see how much energy they have left. They can see everything like that, their current consumption. So with this guy, I'm able to sell energy transparently to everybody. So before, it was optional for them to use my electricity, but now the situation of things in my area is very bad. The electricity is crazy bad. Now they have to solely depend on me. So the
fact that a top TPUSA executive said that a big position inside of TPUSA is that Tyler Robinson was just involved and may not have pulled the trigger. He went on to say that the general consensus inside of TPUSA is that there were other people in the know and maybe more people acting to support the crime. In other words, Tyler played a role, but there were other people involved. Now, who those people were wasn't said. But the general consensus inside of TPUSA is that there were other people involved. That's my position. That's my position. So why am I being attacked? Why is Candace being attacked? I'm pretty sure that's her position too. I'm pretty sure that's the position of the majority of our audience, is that Tyler Robinson had something to do with it. I believe he was there. I believe he went back that night. May or may not have gone to a steakhouse in Penguich. May or may not have slipped over to the Dairy Queen to pick up a Blizzard and some tendies. But he was at least there. I believe so. Maybe turns out he wasn't, but I think he was. Whether or not he was texting, whether or not he was carrying a weapon, whether or not he was climbing on buildings, whether or not he was running across buildings, whether or not he was jumping off buildings, whether or not he was pulling triggers, I can't state with certainty. But I do think he was there. And I think he was involved in some capacity. I think his family believes he was involved in some capacity. I don't think they think he did it. But my position is similar to the TPUSA position, the general consensus. The general consensus. That was the word that was used, the phrase that was used. The general consensus inside of Oh, and by the way, I dare you guys to deny it. I challenge you FedSlop narrative pushers. I challenge TPUSA. I challenge Blake Sneff. I challenge Andrew Colvett. I challenge Tyler Boyer to deny this. I challenge you. It will backfire if you do. You will look very bad. Very bad. And then the person goes on to say that there are people in TPUSA who believe the conspiracy theories. Like Candace pushes. His words, not mine. Then there are people who believe the conspiracy theories. So why are we being attacked? Why is TPUSA not being attacked? Because this is so shocking to me that this is the position inside of TPUSA. That it is well known in TPUSA that Charlie was not a Zionist at any level. He was not a dispensationalist at any level. That he understood the difference between geographic, ethnic, and political Israel. But if I say it, I run the risk of getting throttled on YouTube. I run the risk of getting kicked off of X. I run the risk of getting attacked by the Ziobots out there. That Charlie found replacement theology people interesting. But when Rob McCoy speaks, those people are demonic and horrible and awful. Well, it makes it look like you guys killed him. I mean, I'm sorry, it does. It makes it look like you guys killed Charlie, if those were his true views. If this person is speaking truthfully, and I believe this person would know. I absolutely believe this person would know these issues. And that we should be able to criticize and ask questions about the government of Israel without people being harassed. Yeah. That's a pretty mainstream position these days, guys. You shouldn't attack us over that. Your former leader, the guy you declaim as a martyr, that was his position too. You know, Charlie sounds more and more like a member of the jury every day. Charlie sounds more and more like he could have been a member of the show.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning, ma'am. You know why we pulled you over?
I was speeding.
70 in a 40 zone.
It would be criminal to drive this car at 40 miles an hour.
Now, may I see your license and registration, please?
You could run me, but then it's going to be this whole thing. So how about I just say sorry and go?
Now, please.
Promise you won't freak out.
I promise.
Nolan was completely shocked by the woman's identity and immediately called Gray because over the past 20 years, she had been suspected in multiple large-scale thefts, but there was never enough evidence to arrest her.
What do you want to do?
Gray had no choice but to tell Nolan to write Claire a ticket and have her leave town as soon as possible.
Now is the time that he tells me to leave town ASAP.
Well, if he does, you should listen.
So?
Suspected in 40 high-end robberies, arrested for none. I'm impressed. What brings you to LA?
The weather?
Well, I hear it's going to be even nicer someplace else. Maybe you should try there instead.
So does that mean that I'm free to leave?
You have a nice day.
I think that I have a girl crush.
Claire's appearance put the police department on high alert.
I landed Heathrow Airport. My first mistake, I did not have a return ticket, so that got me flagged in the system. Yeah. These gentlemen in suits come over to the customs area and take me down 4 flights of stairs into the bowels of Heathrow. They put me in a holding cell with actual iron bars. It was myself and another gentleman, a Syrian refugee. And I was there for about 4 hours. More gentlemen in suits showed up, and they took me to an interrogating room with the mirrors on the wall. They had a tripod camera set up. They asked me an hour's worth of questions, my opinions of Donald Trump and the Muslim ban and the border wall. They asked me, they showed me my social media and said, why do you follow these 6 pro-Brexit accounts? And the address you listed is an individual where you're going to live. That's an individual who has worked on pro-Brexit causes. Are you here to work on the campaign? And I'm thinking, I don't know my rights. I don't want to make this an international news story. Rubio employee gets arrested in the UK. So I said, I imagined that I would give advice if people were to ask me. The most embarrassing part, Mark, they said, okay, if you're a tourist, surely you've got a trip plan. So they gave me a piece of paper, told me to write down 10 tourist locations. I've been to London before. I know more than 10 tourist sites, but when that camera's blinking in your face, I folded under the bright lights. I got to like number 8. And they said, you expect us to believe that you don't know more than 8 sites in London and you're a tourist. So then they took me back to the holding cell. I spent the night there. I may have shed a single tear in that holding cell. I was very scared. I thought my life was ruined. And then more folks showed up. They issued me a summons, which is actually on the wall behind me. It's framed on the wall behind me, announcing that I had been denied entry to the UK and that I was banned from entering the UK. Upon appeal, I could go to the consulate and appeal it. But I'm banned from the UK. Best part, Mark, They take me with armed guards to the airplane. They say, we're sending you back to your last port of entry. You're going to Charlotte. They take me to the plane. The armed guards call the pilot out of the cockpit. They give him my passport and say, give this to him when you're on American soil. They then escort me through the aisle on a fully boarded plane, everyone looking at me like I'm Jason Bourne, and they send me, I have my own row on the plane, and they sit me down, and they send me back, and that is how I was banned from the UK.
All right, a couple follow-ups. First of all, did they let you make a phone call? Did you call your host?
I did not get a phone call, nope.
No. And have you looked into it in terms of were the procedures the right ones, or was that overkill?
My understanding is that, yes, it was correct. I was there to work. It was ignorance on my part. I did not think I needed a work visa. And I do think it was a little bit of overkill. I did talk to an immigration attorney. He said, you might be able to get it overturned, but I'd wait for the government to be a little more favorable. Let Brexit fade a bit before you try.
And currently it's a lifetime ban?
Yep, they said until further notice. Until that I could overturn the process, I'd have to go to the consulate in DC, and apparently it's a pretty expensive process.
18,000 euros, corner house, 3 stories. Absolutely unbelievable price. I can't believe how cheap this one is. Really should be double the price, but the owner only wants 18,000 euros, and you've got a nice little cafe place just there. Let's show you what 18,000 buys you in Mussolini. So, ground floor, a bit of a dated kitchen, but you could paint that and still use it. Gas stove, washing machine, nice original tiles. I believe all of this. People pay a fortune for these floors these days. A bit of work to be done in the bathroom, see by the days. The condition, the size, the high ceilings, pretty amazing. So no visible cracks or leaks, which none of us like. Lots of natural light, and here we go, bedroom number 1. First thing I always look for is, are the tiles cracked? Is the house moving? And it's not. We've got a little bit of mold and issues with the ceiling, but this is most likely just because the windows and doors have been closed for so long and it hasn't been in the air. And look at this. Not only 1, but 2 huge balconies surrounding the entire property. It's pretty amazing. Usually you only got tiny little balconies, these are massive. And it gets better. Bedroom number 2, furniture included as well. And another really lovely space. My favourite part of this house, this balcony. Just needs to be sanded and painted. It's not falling down. So even the outside of the house looks nice. So 18,000 euros, contact me or Natalie, we'll get a deal done. You can buy remotely, you can come to you in person. This is an amazing deal. This is maybe one of the spaces you want to update. A little bit dark, the lights not on. Old boiler. But considering everything I've seen, this is a really good deal. Beautiful iron wall railings. They cost a fortune to put in. There you go. If you want to buy, contact me or Natalie, or you can also join my webinar on georgelang.com/webinar, where I'll teach you how to chat.
How is Elon so productive? Have you ever deconstructed this?
He has an operating method that he's developed that I would say is very unusual by modern standards. Actually, I'm not aware of another current CEO who operates the way that he does. And I think probably the single biggest kind of question in all of business right now is why don't more CEOs operate the way that he does? And if you go back in history, you find characters more like him. And so especially like the industrialists of the late 1800s, early 1900s, people like Henry Ford or Andrew Carnegie or Thomas Watson, who built IBM. The top line thing is just this incredible devotion from the leader of the company to fully, deeply understand what the company does and to be, completely knowledgeable about every aspect of it and to be in the trenches and talking directly to the people who do the work, deeply understanding the issues and, being the lead problem solver in the organization. And basically what Elon does is he shows up every week at each of his companies. He identifies the biggest problem that the company's having that week and he fixes it, right? And then he does that every week for 52 weeks in a row. And then each of his companies has solved the 52 biggest problems that year, like in that year. And, most other large companies are still having the planning meeting for the pre-planning meeting, for the board meeting, for the presentation, for the this, for the, with the compliance review and the legal review. And so it's this level of both incredible intellectual capability coupled with incredible force of personality, moral authority, execution capability, focus on fundamentals. That is just really amazing to watch. And then by the way, the side effect of it is he attracts, many of the best people in the world to work with him, because if you work with Elon, the expectations are through the roof in terms of your level of performance. And he is going to know who you are and he's going to know what you've done and he's going to know what you've done this week and he's going to know if you're underperforming and he may fire you in the meeting if you're not carrying your weight. But if you are as committed to the company as he is and working hard, many people who have worked for him say that they had the best experience of their lives when they were working for him.
There may be some challenges in learning when to delegate, when to hand off tasks. That must be a challenge, delineating between what is my problem to solve and what is somebody else's.
Yeah, so I would say most leaders, most CEOs we work with have exactly that problem for exactly the reasons you described. I think the Elon method is a little bit different. He actually delegates almost everything. He's not involved in most of the things that his companies are doing. He's involved in the thing that is the biggest problem right now until that thing is fixed. And then he doesn't have to be involved in it anymore. And then he can go focus on the next thing that's the biggest problem for that company right now. For example, manufacturing, there's this concept of the bottleneck, right? And so in any manufacturing chain, there's always some bottleneck. There's always something that is keeping the manufacturing line from running the way that it's supposed to. And sometimes the bottleneck is at the beginning of the process. It's we can't get enough raw material. Sometimes the bottleneck is at the end of the process. We don't have enough warehouses for the finished product, or the bottleneck might be somewhere in the middle. And if you run a manufacturing company, there's always a bottleneck. Whatever the bottleneck is holding everything up. And the job number one is to remove that bottleneck and get everything flowing again. And I think he basically has universalized that concept, and he basically looks at every company like it's some sort of conceptual assembly line, sometimes a literal assembly line, making cars and rockets. And basically any given week there's a bottleneck. There's guaranteed to be the main bottleneck. There's going to be one thing that's going to be the thing that's holding people back. And so the answer to your question, the resolution of the paradox is I'm going to micromanage the solution of that. I don't need to manage everything else because everything else by definition is running better than that, right? And so I can go focus on that. The other part of it is so compelling, and this is where I think a lot of especially non-technical CEOs would really struggle to implement the method, is he really, when he identifies the bottleneck, he goes and he talks to the line engineers who understand the technical nature of the bottleneck. And if it's people on a manufacturing line, he's talking to people directly on the line, or if that's people in a software development group, he's talking to the people actually writing the code.